Welcome back. This is Kyle with All In Survival, and today I'm taking this opportunity while I'm out doing a little car camping with the family at about 7,800 feet to take an opportunity to go through bug out bags. Today we're going to look at not a traditional bug out bag, or what I would say is a 72-hour kit, but it's more in the line of an inch bag, or I'm not coming home, or I'm going to spend an extended amount of time in the outdoors. It's of my opinion that you should rely on your supplies and be at home for as long as possible. But if you find yourself having to live off the land, you should have a little bit of skill in that area. You do not need to be a full outdoor survivalist, rubbing two sticks together to make fire and all of that stuff. If you've gotten to that point, you've probably made dozens of mistakes along the way. So today we're going to look at my bug out bag. What's up, Marley? What's up, boy? What's it? Alright. Like I said, I'm taking some time out of a family vacation to sit down and talk about the bug out bag. And I rolled in some pictures of me wearing it, and it's sitting down here. Take 3. So we just had some fighter jets go overhead, and they were so loud I couldn't even hear myself think. So we're going to try this again. Now, enjoy a PBR. Alright. I'm on vacation. We're out with the family. And this opportunity to explain kind of my thoughts on bug out bags, and mine would be a little bit closer to an inch bag. And what is an inch bag? Well, I'm never coming home bag. However, this is set up a little bit to my philosophy is to take care of all of the situations as much as you can. So a standard bug out bag is a change of clothes, some toiletry items, some food and water for 3 days. If you do that, that is your emergency response. I have to leave right now bag. This one's a little different. This one has some capabilities on medical, has some capabilities on some outdoor supplies, an axe and a saw, and some other stuff. So I'll go ahead and pull some of this stuff out, and we'll talk about each of the items. Alright, first thing we're going to talk about is the actual bag. Now, I've shown you a little picture of me wearing the bag, and I'm sure some of you guys noticed. Some of those people will actually even notice what type of bag it is. We're starting off with an Eberlestock Dragonfly with the ability to carry a rifle, right? You slide it right down here through the mount. This is not a cheap bag. This is a very expensive bag that you can get. It's not super light. It's extremely rugged, right? I've had this bag for about 7 years. I've taken it out hunting with some buddies, and I've done some backpacking. I've only had one problem the entire time. One of the plastic buckles ended up snapping, and I had to get it replaced. But that being said, once again, I'm not telling you what to buy. Just know that you should go with a strong, durable backpack. The last thing you need to do is be kicking off in an emergency and the shoulder strap breaks off of your bag. Another thing I'll talk about is the bag is big, right? And it expands even larger than what you saw. However, this bag fully fitted out, I'll say dry, because the bladders themselves are not full all the time. I'll fill those up. Is 45 pounds. So 45 pounds for some people would be quite a bit of weight. I'm 6'5" and 200, almost 60 pounds. So 45 pounds. So this is not a bag that's going to be an issue for me carrying. Now, granted, you scale it for your size, okay? Let's go with that. Now, it comes with a fanny pack that's on the back. I went ahead and put a carabiner out and was able to snap it, hold it to the front. This holds a roll, a sleeping roll, and I'll show you it a little bit later. On the side, I went ahead and added a carrier for a water bottle. All right. On the top is a 511 med kit. Right. This is a relatively large med kit for what people will call a bug out bag. And I'm going to go ahead and open it. It opens up, and on top is a bandage and some gloves. Inside I've got pretty much everything. It's hard to show, but I've got everything that you would need for the minor boo-boos, right? The little stuff, the blisters and the different stuff like that. This is not a blowout kit and a gunshot kit, but there are some things in there that would help you. All right. Also, I keep a tourniquet in two places, one on my belt and one on my actual rifle. So I don't keep one actually in this med kit. This is basically a boo-boo kit. All right. The next thing that people might have noticed is on this side. I keep ammunition. All right. There's 2 AR mags here and a bandolier for shotgun, depending on whether I brought my shotgun or my AR. Why do I keep it on the outside of my bag? Well, in the military, I did a lot of training, and the first thing you'll do when you get to contact is yank off your bag so that you can maneuver. But a lot of times you'll end up using your bag as concealment, or at least use it as a shooting platform. Nice to have additional ammo on the outside of your bag, easy to get to. Now, I'm not advocating engaging any targets. You should be removing yourself from any kind of an issue. But if you need to, having an extra 60 rounds on the outside is a good deal. The other thing I'll talk about is the actual belt. On the outside of the belt, you'll see these discs. And if anybody had noticed while I was wearing it, these are from G-Code, and they attach holsters. Okay, you can quick release in holsters pretty easily here, and you've got your firearm on the outside of your belt, taking the place initially as a battle belt. It's not perfect, but at least if you needed to draw for a weapon quickly, you could. I would suggest if you're in an immediate evacuation situation, you go concealed. But if you get to the point where, you know, everybody's carrying openly, definitely have it open. That's good. Okay. All right. So that pretty much takes care of the actual bag itself. In a minute, I'll start going through some of the items. I'm going to start with food and clothing first, and we'll move forward. All right, we're back. I'm not sure if you can tell if you hear in the background my 2-year-old is running around with his pawpaws, so it's kind of fun. But they're off on an adventure. So we'll talk about food. What do we got in the bag? Well, the standard is always a 3-day supply, and of course I try my best to extend that because I really don't know what the situation will be. I might actually be carrying all the food for all of us. So I've gone with, once again, Mountain House and Backpacker's Pantry. Both of these are great brands, relatively expensive, but very easy to cook. Water is a premium, but boiling water is the easiest way to cook. Inside the bag, I've also gone with some Costco Kirkland beef jerky. I replace this out of my bag every 6 months or so, and it's perfectly good. But having the salt and the meat in there is a big bonus. So don't forget to make sure that you have some comfort items. And then all right, so we're back, and the first thing we're going to talk about was clothing. Two things when it comes to clothing. One, having a good second set of clothing is great, but you want to keep it dry. So dry is lighter. Dry also, it's time to change your clothes, and wet socks, not a good idea. So start with a compression bag, a waterproof bag, or Ziploc bags I've used in the past, and I like that too, with maybe a duct tape around it. So I use a compression bag, put a change of clothes in there. A basic set of clothing is going to be a moisture wicking t-shirt, right? And a good quality backpacking type pair of pants. If it's not obvious by now, I stick with Coyote Browns. I live in the desert, and also it's clean. It looks cleaner, so you can wear it a little longer. So there's that. Then now we're talking about layering, right? So obviously it gets cold even in the desert, and you can't carry tons and tons of jackets and stuff. So we layer things. So we're going to start from a base layer, which can be any kind of moisture wicking long sleeve type shirts, and we just layer them up to get the needed effect. Don't forget about gloves. I've got an inner layer of gloves and a thick layer of gloves, and wool socks. So wool socks is a must, and go with good quality. So if you can get the advanced wool stuff, your feet will love you for it. So don't forget wool socks. Next thing is jackets, right? So in the same circumstance, I like to think about it in a layering effect. So we'll go with an inner and an outer layer type of jacket. We go with this kind of like this is a Condor, but it's I don't know what's the type of material, but it's fleece. It's a fleece material. It's nice and snug, and it's not extra loose on you. So we'll use a fleece as the first liner, and a layer, and the second layer is going to be an outer layer, rain resistant, right? So neither of these jackets by themselves are very heavy, and you can layer them up and down as needed. Remember, when you're packing with a pack, you're going to start to sweat, especially if you're doing any kind of elevations, so you're going to sweat. You want to try to avoid that if possible. So go slow, take off layers as needed. All right, next we're going to talk about water and food cooking. So basically they go hand in hand. So you saw that most of my meals are going to be done through the boiling of water and eating it from the package. So I don't have a lot of cook gear in my getup. Let's talk about water in a couple of different ways. Now, Camelback always is a good option, especially to have it inside the bag. But these Nalgene containers are great when you come across water that you need to try and purify and store. Also, this platypus is another great, right? Platypus. It also comes with a connector, and you can go straight to a straw from there. These are good options. Water purification, I go with a Katadyn water filter, right? I've probably pumped 30-40 gallons with this one, and it's still going strong. So great investment. It weighs about a pound, and you can get never-ending amounts of water. Lastly, the cooking of actual stuff. I went with an Esbit stove, right? This is a dual layer there's another small layer in here. You put it underneath and you use these tabs, right? Especially in the initial days of any kind of an event, you don't want to sit around and make fires. Fires draw attention, attention bad. Okay, so let's just be honest. Anything you can do to keep yourself from being noticed while you're out and about is a good thing. So go with something that's not necessarily, it's a little more discreet. Okay, so Esbit stove, there's about 10 of the tabs in here. That'll definitely boil enough water for a week or so. Alright, something pretty simple. Just a fold up collapsible bowl and a spork. Save some weight, save some time. One of the other things I want you to consider in your bag is Camelback elixir. This is hydration electrolytes, and especially in the initial days of any kind of a situation, you're gonna be under an extreme amount of stress, and you're probably not going to get to drink as much water as you'd like to. So if you get dehydrated and your electrolytes fall, you can start making some really terrible decisions. So consider your health and welfare. Alright, so for a sleep system, especially being a desert guy, I don't get crazy with 20 below sleeping bags and all that type of stuff. But I do have a whoopee. Inside here is also a camping pillow. Right, so these combined curled up in all of my layers with my jackets and everything else will get me through most nights. All right. I also have a lightweight sleeping pad. Right, this blows up. You can seal it if there's a hole with some duct tape, which I definitely have. And then this has served me well for a long time. So this is a Thermarest. It does just fine. One of the larger items in my bag is a Hennessy hammock. Alright, this comes not only with the hammock, but also the netting above and the tarp that goes. So you can pretty much, if you can find enough a good area to set this up, you can have your tent directly above the ground. You don't have to sleep on the ground, which is a bonus especially for me. So I've used this a couple times. This is pretty good, right? All right, now we're going to talk about some of the tools, right? So you got to have a good camp knife, and I went with something inexpensive and basically indestructible. So this right here is a cold steel Bushman, and it's really good steel. It's really economical, and it has the ability to be turned into a spear if you really needed it. So it also comes with a fire starter, right? So that's a secondary way of starting some fire. A small little saw. This thing is great, and this will help with setting up camp and maybe cutting some foliage and creating a barrier so that you can not be as visible from the outside and different things like that. So for the weight, it's worth carrying. This is one of the heavier items. I went with a Gerber hatchet because it also is a pry bar. Now, assuming that you're going to spend all of your time in the woods is a mistake. Assuming that you're going to spend all of your time urban is also a mistake. So having something like this where you can use it in different environments is always a bonus. All right. Lastly, a little chunk of 550 cord, always good, and a secondary fire starter. You want to have two. Two is one. I also keep a real cheap mosquito net. I'm not a fan of bugs. Spent enough time in Southeast Asia in Thailand and Philippines to know that you can be miserable with without one of these. Right. As I said, I'm not a big fan of the bugs, so I also put in a little container of bug repellent. This stuff's pretty good, and also anti-itch and anti-chafing cream. If you're going to spend some time with a pack on and you're going to go some serious distance, this is a plus. A couple of 6-hour candles, right? And a small chunk of duct tape. Duct tape. And all right, a couple of last items that I have in my bag is a toiletry kit. Brush your teeth, wash your hair. There's a little bit of bug spray in here. Let's see, toilet paper, a small kit to repair some clothing, maybe add a button, and also firearms cleaning kit for my AR and pistol. There's pretty much the brushes and the whole kit's here. So that pretty much hits off these last few items. I also keep a small chunk of camo netting. It's not very big, but it'll cover your bag if you need to hide your bag or maybe help try and shield your camp. It could be a plus. It's super lightweight, so it's a bonus. Anyways, alright, so we've gone through the bag. You kind of get an idea of what my usage for this bag is. It's not a traditional 72-hour bag, and it's also not a tactical pack, and it's also not really an inch bag, I'm never coming home bag. It's kind of a combination of things that I've put together throughout my time of preparedness, and a little more than less, a little heavier than not, but I feel pretty confident with what's in my bag at this point. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. If you got any kind of ideas, or if you liked the video, please, by all means, hit the like button. It'll help me out. And if you want to see any particular type of videos, go ahead and put those in the comments too. I'm looking for content. Always interested in hearing what you have to say. Till next time. And I think it's the perfect size. It actually gets a little bit larger. Alright, take two. We're going to try that again. There were some fighter jets going over. Those who know anything about Las Vegas. Take three. Something pretty simple.